Okay, guys, welcome to the first week of the Kickoff, a Rocket League podcast. We got a few things to talk about today, and I'm here with Dallas, aka Jelix.
Howdy. Thank you for having me. Very pleased to
Okay,
be here. I want
glad
to
to have
thank
you.
my mom and dad for distilling no or any account of anything. And I'm just going to keep rambling for a few minutes.
Sounds
There we go.
good. Alrighty, so we've got a few things to talk about today, including we've got Rocket League coming to China, we've got RLCS current standings, we've got some Reddit posts and cool things that showed up on the subreddit this week, a couple community events, our song of the week, and that seems about it. Okay, so first up, we're gonna move to Rocket League hits 30 million registered users this week.
That
Crazy amount of people.
that is a very impressive milestone. Now, do you know
Definitely.
if it is active or just accounts in general?
I think it's accounts in
I would
general.
assume.
So of course there's going to be people with multiple accounts,
Yeah.
but definitely
Terrible
not
smurfers.
something to live in. Terrible. Terrible.
Just
Ethically wrong.
very morally and ethically wrong. Anybody who has a Smurf account should really just look at themselves, take a deep, long look in a mirror, and ask themselves, is this right? What would
I
Jesus do?
agree. What would Jesus do? That's going to be our new tagline. What would Jesus do?
No, that is pretty awesome though.
Definitely. Okay. So major topic right now. We're going to move over to Rocket League coming to China. I think this is going to be a major thing for Rocket League, considering how big the games industry is in China right now and esports in general. Um, New revamped logo. Um, they're finally opening the game up to Chinese players in a new free-to-play system, which I found interesting. They said it's not going to follow a pay-to-win formula, and it's going to still be community first, like how Rocket League currently is. Um, what are your thoughts on this, Dallas?
It's interesting, for sure, because the Chinese market is a very interesting one in and of itself because of how the Chinese government runs their video games and how they're very strict in their rules, and you have to really take the time to go through your game and make sure it hits all these key points or it won't get through, which is probably why it took so long for this to come out in the first place. I find it also interesting the free to play, and it's not a pay to win. That's a
Definitely.
great thing because the more pay to win games we get, and if they start being successful, it's just gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep coming. They're not gonna stop. It's gonna be terrible. So I
Mm.
respect. Oh fuck! I forgot the name who makes the game. And thank you,
Psionics.
God, Psionics, for not doing that, for coming out saying here it is, not pay to win. We're not gonna be cheeky fuckers. We're gonna do it right, and hopefully that's how it stays through its strive. They don't change it up later in the date. Hopefully they bring out, maybe this will even entice them to bring out more customized stuff for cars.
Definitely.
They have a whole new Chinese market now, and they're not buying the game, so now they need to kick out skins and wheels and toppers and all this in a whole new fashion.
That's a
They
good
could
point.
even they one more second, and then I'll let you go. They could even
No,
start
you're
to
fine.
implement stuff like Counter Strike, where they actually have fan picked skins and stuff for the weapons. Maybe they could have fan created skins for the cars and stuff.
Definitely. I thought it was interesting because the Asian market's an interesting one, and they tend to lean more towards free to play games. So this is definitely a step to appeal to a wider Asian audience, which is a massive audience for games to be appealing to. Um, Definitely going to boost the player base, especially if this catches on in Asian markets. But esports are the largest over there right now, and a free to play system is definitely going to open up to them, and it's also going to um, provide for, like you said, more possibly more items and paid for items, crate skins, stuff like that. which will hopefully also come to North American and European players, South American, etc. And just in total, opening up more possibilities for customization and a larger player base.
And let's hope here that, you know, the Chinese market like dive bombs this. You know, they just go all out on these skins. They love this game. Not only will it raise the ceiling in experience and skill, hopefully it'll flood in a whole new market of money for them, and then they can actually work on fixing their potato servers. So that's something
True.
I'm really excited for. I don't play the game very much, and I don't mind potato servers because I don't have the skill to harness, you know, a 50 ping or a 30 ping. Doesn't matter to me. But when I watch these pros play, you know, they have that technique. They have that skill where they can feel the difference between 20 ping. They can feel the difference in between a 20 ping. That's what I'm excited for. That's what I hope comes out of this. Better stability, more content. You can't go wrong. And then a larger player base.
Definitely. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our RLCS and esports in general section. So we had more games played. We're approaching the end of the season. What is it? 1 or 2 more weeks of league play?
Something like that.
And then it ends. Definitely.
Definitely.
So we're gonna open up the standings right now.
In which one? EU, or do you want to start with NA?
I'm gonna start with NA. So we've got NA standings right here, and major point that I definitely wanted to talk about was Set to Destroy X. Underdog coming into league play. They beat Iris in qualifiers, made it all the way to league play, and now they're kind of just they flopped. They finished off league play 0-7. Definitely a rough season for them.
Yeah, it would almost be interesting. I know it can't happen, but in, you know, a made up fantasy of if we could get the Iris team to go through and somehow just one by one play all the other teams and see how they fare. It would be fun because they Set to Destroy comes in, beats the team that everybody, let me say, most people expected to win, but then somehow after, like, you would think that's like a hype train right there. That's gonna get them to like to the point of where they can probably be up there with all the other teams, and then to try and train and all that shit that goes into it, they would come out swinging as hard as they can. You know, let's add baseball references to a soccer game. Anyways, you would think that would propel them to try as hard as they can, and maybe they have. I haven't caught all their games. I haven't seen how close or how far they were. It's very unfortunate that they come in and they take an 0-7 go at it so far. But I'm curious. I would like to see the 3 Iris go up against all the other teams and see how it goes. Just out of, was it maybe like that one weekend where they played Set to Destroy and they got kicked out? Was that just their off week, or did Set to Destroy actually have more skill? Just unfortunately against everybody else in NA, they just don't hold up yet. Something
Definitely.
like that.
Okay. So that was the major point in NA. G2, NRG playing well as usual. I thought Take 3 definitely was going to be weak coming into this league play, but they're playing much better than I thought they were going to, and it looks like they're going to make LAN. At this point, at least, we're going to have to see how their next games play.
Now, how many people make it into LAN? How many teams?
4 teams from each
4
region.
teams, and then do top 6 go into a playoff style, or is it just the top 4 and then it's over?
Top 6 go into playoff for league play, and then the 4 out of that top 4.
Now, do they reset stats at that point?
It's just based off of once they make it into playoffs. I believe it's just based off of their playoff games.
I see. So after that, record doesn't matter. It's all just who wins and who loses.
Yeah, records mostly for tiebreaker to get into playoffs. Okay, so I think we're gonna move to EU right now. Take a look at them. There we go.
Now, do you want to do a rundown of the team standings currently for everybody listening?
They can see it. We've got.
You do. You are capturing it. I forgot.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got my team of choice, Northern Gaming. They're actually first place right now. Everybody in EU still got a few games to play, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Flip side, not doing as well as they were in previous seasons.
Yeah.
Definitely not
It's
the strongest team out there.
it's almost like that Madden curse a little bit. You win it all, and then you get put on the front of the Madden cover, and then the next season you fucking tank. I Buy Power wins it in the first one with if I remember correctly, like a very nice win. Like they came back or something like that. If I remember, that was a few years ago. It's been a while.
Yeah,
But
IBP was struggling for a little
yeah,
bit, and
they
then
were
they
struggling.
ended up coming back and
yeah,
winning LAN.
and it was amazing. And then they came out for season 2, and everybody knows they didn't even make it to LAN. Did they even make playoffs?
No, they were taken out before
Yeah,
playoffs. As far as
like
I know.
they were almost pulling a set to destroy record, weren't they? Like they had barely any wins, maybe 2.
I think it was fairly close. Yeah.
So now Flip Side has a tremendous final stand, and they fucking destroy Mocket in 2 bests of 7, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Nuts. I think Mocket won 4 games total out of 8, 2 in each set.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was nuts. It's one of the greatest things I've watched Rocket League wise. And then they come in, and I mean, they're third in their 4-1. They're fine. I mean, they're doing just as good as everybody else. But it's surprising to see them drop that one game. To be honest, I think everybody thought they were going to come out and basically run through everyone. Weren't going to lose the game.
Definitely. Especially against Leftovers. Leftovers, I want to talk about them. They had a phenomenal league play.
Oh,
so far.
100%. They are my team to watch. That is the other team I wish wouldn't have dropped a match.
Let's just look right here. How many reverse sweeps did they have? 4? 4? They lost 1
something
game.
like that. Yeah, I think every game they've won was a reverse sweep except for the one they lost against Penta. Everybody thought that they were going to reverse sweep Penta, and Penta ended up closing it out. And I think they were all fairly close games.
Penta swept, but I think they were close games as well. Yeah, because they finished 12 and 11.
That's the sad thing for me. Like they didn't. No offense to Penta, but Penta is 6th right now. Like they didn't even lose to like a top tier team, in my opinion. Like if this gets close, let's say Penta wins the next. Oh wait, they're 7 and 7.
Penta's done. Penta's done.
Oh,
Resident
okay. Let's say this then. Let's say Leftovers tank their next 2 games. Could they make it? What if it? I don't think it can happen. But what if it was a thing between Leftovers and Penta making it in, and Penta wins out over the Leftovers just because they beat them that one time? Like, what if it would have came down to that? Something
that would have been
just
crazy.
Stupid and silly because they dropped 1 game to a team they should have clearly beat.
Yeah, Leftovers has shown this entire league play that they're definitely supposed to be here, and they can come back from losses. Yeah. They don't get beat down. They can retake the momentum and carry through with a reverse sweep.
And I think it's amazing that not only have they beat, I'm pretty sure the top tier teams. They beat Flipside, they beat Northern. Mm-hmm. Like those are the 2 highest right there. And they're literally what the team name is. I mean, probably everybody knows this at this point, but they're just a team of the people who didn't make it on a team, so they made their own damn team, and then they come out. Yeah, it's just impressive. They're the team I actually hope go at least to LAN. I am very excited to see how they do at LAN. I would love to see them win it.
Definitely. I'm going to be interested to see how they play against Gale Force, the 2nd place team right now. That's going to be interesting, especially with Pashy, all those guys. Going to be good to see that.
Now, I'm going to ask a stupid question. Have they been named Gale Force the entire season? Because I swear that's last. No. Okay, because I was going to say last week is the first time I've heard of them.
They were Pocket Aces. And then they were acquired by Gale Force Esports.
Okay. Yeah, that confused me last week.
Just like Set to Destroy X was Radiance. And then after beating Iris, Set to Destroy picked them up.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we're gonna move into our Reddit segment now.
Do you want to?
I think we've covered.
I was just gonna say, what about predictions?
Okay, let's go back to predictions.
Do they have who's gonna play this week coming up?
They do have. If you look at, I'm gonna pull back up to NA. but we're gonna have both of them. So you can see who's playing. Genesis is playing G2. I feel like G2 is gonna take that. Just based off of standings, Genesis is 6th.
Yeah.
Hasn't necessarily been playing the greatest. But they did beat NRG 3-1.
I feel like,
and their other one was against Set to Destroy. But what were you
I
gonna
was gonna say maybe they're just a little bit of a hit and miss team, almost like one of those
Mm.
teams where it's like you expect them to lose and then they win, and then you expect them to win and they lose.
That could be
I
it.
could see him throwing an upset to G2. Maybe G2 comes in thinking they're not going to be a competitor, considering they're in 6th place right now,
Definitely.
and then they pull a fast one over G2. I think it's going to all depend on how G2. Obviously, it's going to depend on how G2 is playing, but I think it's going to come down to how they're faring together. If G2 is well in sync, I don't think they're going to have a chance. But if there's a little bit, if they're not, maybe at their 100. I could see an upset coming. There's got to be a big one.
Who do you
right?
think's gonna make LAN?
Who's gonna make LAN?
Yeah, definitely an upset.
Obviously NRG is gonna probably make it. I'm very happy to see G2 make it because after watching the first season of RLCS, I am a fanboy of Cronovi. So I am terrible. I know. Don't hate me too much. But I enjoy watching Cronovi, and then I don't want to go right down the line that it's the top 4 right now. I want to see an upset. I want somebody to come in. I thought for a bit, the first 2 weeks, I watched Denial. I thought Denial had a really good chance, and then I don't think they played too well. Yeah. They won out their first game, and then they had a bye. I thought their first week I watched them play, I thought that they were going to have a chance. But then it was Set to Destroy, and everybody it all got convoluted at that point because nobody knew that they were going to drop 7 games in a row. It's unfortunate. They have a pretty good team for the people they have on it, but yet just not there yet, I think.
Definitely.
But I think it's probably going to be NRG, G2, Selfless, and Altair, if I had to guess. Really? Yeah, I don't see anybody. I would like to see an upset, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
My top 4, NRG, obviously. G2, obviously. Atelier.
I want to see Atelier make it.
And I think Take 3 is going to beat Selfless out for that spot. Atelier and Take 3 both have 2 more games to go. If they each win 1, lose 1, they end up with the same record as Selfless. So that's going to be a toss-up. But if either of those teams wins twice, they beat Selfless. Take 3 is a strong team. I'd love to see them come in and take this and go to LAN. Vince, great player. Struggled last season. Was kind of this on the Set to Destroy of this season, but they're doing good. I think Set to Destroy, Atelier, G2, and NRG are gonna go into LAN. That's just my take.
Yeah, I guess since Selfless has already played their 7 games, they don't even have an actual chance to fight for that spot. It's literally just going to come down to how Atelier and Take 3 do. That would be interesting. I wonder, Take 3 they haven't played Atelier yet, have they? They're one of the few teams. So it's going to actually come down to them 2 playing.
Just going to come down to that.
So if whoever wins out their first game, say they both win out their first game, and then they have to face each other, that's going to be a really interesting matchup.
You also got to point out that Atelier has played the strong team so far, and their 2 losses are against NRG and G2. So they only have to play that Take 3 game, which is going to be a toss-up, and Denial. Denial's one of the bottom teams. Take 3 has not played NRG yet. So it's going to be the Take 3 versus NRG and also Atelier. So that could decide what's going to happen.
That's actually really fun as well because Denial could play spoiler on that team. Because they could right now, they could give up because they only have a 40% chance of making it in. That would they could come out, and instead of just giving up and just half-heartedly playing, they could come out, try to play as hard as they can, and upset one of these teams.
Hmm. Okay. I think we've just about covered that one. Move into EU.
EU.
Pick up EU. I feel like EU is definitely the major scene that everybody likes to talk about. The teams just feel that much more interesting compared to NA, but I'm not gonna take away from NA's player base.
Well, then I am, because let's be honest, name a game out there that EU is worse than NA.
True.
Because this is how it usually goes. Korea, and then I want to say China, with then EU and then NA. Most of the time.
Okay.
Most.
So I'm gonna take a look at this. So we've got these teams: Northern first place, Gale Force second, Flipside third, Leftovers fourth. Okay, so just looking at this games to play, Flipside and Northern, that's going to be a fantastic game to watch.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They got to play each other. They're both top 3 teams. That's going to be kind of a toss-up for me with who's going to win that. Obviously, I'd love to see Northern win, but it all depends on whether Flipside is playing on their A game or not.
Yeah.
Flipside is a very strong team when they're playing well.
One of the things I love the most is that the top 5 teams still have 2 games to play. I love it.
Yeah. So it's all kind of a toss-up right there, and Penta's just waiting on to see what the rest of them. As well as Resident, 7th place team, they could still make it into playoffs, I believe,
so slim,
depending on how well they play. So very slim.
But wouldn't that be amazing?
They're playing Flipside and Mocket, so it's going to be a toss-up. Mocket, okay, so my top 4, obviously Northern, Gale Force, and Flipside. Those 3 are kind of solidified in my book. Although Leftovers could definitely take one of their spots. I'd love to see Mocket make top 4, but I just honestly, at this point, I think it's going to be Northern, Gale Force, Flipside, and Leftovers. Making it into LAN. But if Leftovers continues with how well they play and coming back and being able to take control of the momentum of series, that's kind of going to decide.
Would you like to see the Leftovers continue their reverse sweeps, or would you like them to just win out?
That would be ridiculous.
Because
what if a team, all of their 1 games were reverse sweeps?
That would be so fun, but Jesus, just...
See, but you see what happens with that is their 1 loss to Penta was a sweep that they weren't able to come back from. So
yeah, that can easily go the other way. Like I think for their sakes, I would love for them to just come out and just dominate, just so they make sure they're in playoffs, and then potentially they have that chance at LAN. Because I want to expect that most of the teams are playing, but if you're 4-1 right now, you only got 2 games left. You're probably a little bit of coasting, and then you're going to save all your good shit until playoffs. You're not going to want to pull out some incredibly insane passes or plays that you've made in the last 2 weeks when you have an 80% chance of making it to playoffs. Like there's no point. I think most of the teams in the top 4 could lose their last 2 games and still make it into playoffs.
True. It's going to be interesting because by the time this goes live online, this is all going to be played out. It's going to be out on Monday. Everybody's going to be able to see where our predictions went wrong.
Yeah.
So, we do have playoffs after that, though. They're going to be able to see where the bracket finalizes. But that's going to be funny. So if you're watching this now, feel free to let us know how off our predictions were.
You're going to have to flame us in the chat. I'm one of those cool kids. That's why I had to say the cool kids.
Flame them like the cool kids. Alrighty, so you think we've covered EU well enough?
Sure.
I think so. Alrighty. What else?
I have a Reddit post that I'm going to hope you don't have, which I think is really neat. Yeah, I'm going to post it in the Discord so you can pull it up and show it.
Definitely.
I think this would be really cool.
Oh, okay.
Do you have this?
I saw this, but it's not on the list.
So
Okay, so let's start off with
yeah,
this.
advanced training. I thought this was really neat. So not only do we have the training, we have the you can make your own levels, but then this opens up a whole new way of playing. So you can focus it on well, the first one anyways gives you focusing on what side you want to shoot, getting your accuracy up. When I listen to people and I watch people play, the biggest thing they say, like pros or really high competitive Rocket League, the biggest thing you can do when you're playing Rocket League, it's the air dribbling is fancy. The flying off walls and hitting the ball is fancy. But the core thing is ball movement, controlling your dribble, and then shooting with accuracy and power. And that's what I think this thing opens up really well, because you can turn it to where you can only open up a portion of the goal, or that you can set things to block you. So you have to, like, two things that you can, one, you can work on accuracy, one, you can work on power, and then you can combine them together to really get it to go. Like if you go down to the bottom, it actually sets a specific speed you need for the goal to count. Like that's really neat. So if you're trying to clear the ball and make sure you hit this ball exactly the same time with enough speed, and it won't count, like it'll train your mind so much better to know, okay, boom, I got it. I nailed it. 65 and up. I know how to hit this one if you continues to do it over and over and over again.
Definitely. I think this would be a great addition to custom training. I think a lot of times, unless you're watching a video that the person puts out on how to do it, sometimes you won't necessarily know where you should be aiming for or how they want you to do it. This sort of guides it, because if you have like a collision box in front of the net, you can sort of tell where they want you to hit it, or so like say for a power shot, you don't know where you should be placing it on net.
Yeah.
It even says it for the speed. You're able to practice until you hit that where you should be hitting and how fast you should be hitting.
That's another thing that I completely forgot about. That is one thing I wish they would add. I don't know if you're going to bring this up or not. But why can't they have a way to, like, you know how you used to play those old games and you would you'd have a ghost of yourself, like
yes,
training course or something, or like you were running a speed thing, and then it would show where you were. Why don't they have at the beginning of it, they show exactly how the car chips it in, or exactly what you're supposed to do with a ghost, and then you
shows a ghost of the player who made it.
So then it shows you how you're, like, I go into some of those ones and I'm a terrible player at this game, and it'll be like the ball's coming at me at like a 45-degree angle, and I need to cherry pick it behind me into the goal, and I can kind of assume where I need to hit it, but it takes me 20 tries to get it once, and then I'm like, oh, cool, I got it, but where exactly did I hit it on the car to get it perfect? Yeah. Another thing I really like with this is, say you're, okay, so most people, say low levels, they're going to use this to, you know, like I said, speed, power, handling, accuracy. Higher people could actually use this for when they want to practice their accuracy with like air drags and dribbles. They can go up off walls and make sure that they put it in the top left corner every single time. Or maybe they want to bring the ball in super fast, but at the last minute they want to touch it with the bottom of their car and stop the ball to like 5 miles an hour. You could also play it that way, where it's, you can even, where you're trying to get your high skill gap players even better with specific, you know, accuracy here, slowing the ball down or moving the ball a little faster depending on where you hit it. You know, this, that, the other.
Definitely. Yeah, that's cool. This was definitely a great post that I didn't even, I saw this, but I don't even think it registered, and I didn't put it in the list for today.
Yeah,
this was a great addition.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, that is perfect.
Alrighty, so I think we covered that one. I'm gonna pull over into Turtle Flick. This is gonna be our shot of the week.
Like, holy shit! Like, I have never in my life just thought, hey, you know, if I roll upside down and hit the button fast enough, I can actually make the car pop. Like, what? I would have stopped playing if this was me. Not only is he getting destroyed 7-3, I know it's Kronovi, but 7-3.
Oh no, he's winning. He's winning. The guy shooting is winning. Or are you talking about?
Kronovi's the one playing.
Is this Kronovi?
This is Kronovi.
How did I not know this?
Yeah, Kronovi posted this on Reddit. This is Kronovi's shot.
Okay, so Kronovi's shitting
Yeah,
on somebody.
Kronovi's shitting on
7-3.
somebody. I'm assuming in ranked, and then he pulls this out. That is a rage. I can't even call it a rage quit. That is an. I just got so outplayed. I'm so impressed. I can't play with this person anymore because the line is drawn. I will never be able to replicate this or even try to be that good.
It's nuts.
I pray so much that somehow he fucking does this at LAN. Could you imagine if he gets a one-on-one challenge somehow on a LAN or in
That'd be
playoffs
funny.
and he pulls that shot off?
That'd be funny.
Like, oh my god. I saw Turtle Flick and I was just like waiting for what's gonna happen. And then you see it and it's just like this man is a god. He might not be the best player anymore for some people, but he's thinking so far outside the box. It's nuts. And I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What was your reaction?
I didn't even know who this was, as shown by before, but because I heard everybody talking about it, and I just pulled up the link and watched it and decided to put it in, but I didn't even know it was Kronovi. It's just fantastic. It shows how much skill he has, being able to recognize in those situations, regardless of him. Maybe somebody else knows, has thought of this before. Just being able to pull it off, where he doesn't wait for it to touch the bottom of his car because it would cancel all the power. He does it while the ball is still in the air, and uses the flip to flick his car up and in return the ball. But I thought that was crazy.
That's also a great point that I didn't even think to touch on. Not only was he able to think this idea, but then he replicated it and then scored. Like, you can have ideas of how, oh, that would be a cool goal, or if I could pull that off, that'd be really neat. But then he goes into a damn game and does it. Like, it's super impressive.
Nuts. Okay. So we're going to move into. I'm gonna skip the Jazer thing just because I don't even think that's worth mentioning. Rocket League mouse pads.
Now this I never heard about, to know anything about until about 10 minutes ago, and if I had more money, I would be buying some. Because
this guy decides to make mouse pads for his friends of the import cars.
They're just so cool.
How did he get these pictures?
Like, they're so. I bet you he did them in Photoshop or something, right? They had to, because
he had
it's
to.
Just they're so neat. They're so neat, and then like the even the writing on them is just perfect with how they are. Like the lens flare, esque effect, perfect. The colors he uses, everything is just kind of on point with them. My only thing is, for being a guy who uses a giant mouse pad, like I was telling you earlier, I would like one that's like 23 by 11, and then it had multiple cars on it, or like the whole lineup of cars or something like that.
True, like a garage maybe.
Something just like maybe you could pick up to 4 to have on there in different positions, or maybe you could have like they're just facing forward and all the cars are lined up or something like that. Maybe you could, like, you have so many implementations you could do with this. You could have half the mouse pad blue and orange. You could have 2 specific cars battling it out. Like, so many ways you could go with this. I'm surprised he's the first one to really kind of like jump on this market of Rocket League mouse pads. I'm sure it's out there, but like I've never seen some so well done.
True. This man could sell these online and make a profit.
Yeah, 100%. The only problem is he would his smart thing would be to jump right on in with Psionics and try to get like a license from them to sell them, or like get them to buy them from him, so it's like official.
True,
and they can't
like official.
Yeah, because the thing you don't want to do is you don't want to make really cool stuff and then get I don't know, it would be a copyright strike, but like a cease and desist letter. Because you're making something awesome, and then they're just like, you're kind of using our license and stuff for profit. We're not cool with that, so.
True. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm gonna bump into our next community event section.
What's your favorite mouse pad out of the 3?
My favorite mouse pad?
Yeah, out of the 3.
I think I like the Dom GT one.
I think color-wise, I'm gonna go with the the Octane, just because that one is by far the prettiest looking, and I'm a big fan of color. But car-wise, I gotta give it to the Model S because the Model S is one of the sexiest cars, and I still don't have it, which makes me really sad. But that car in that picture, like how it's lined up right now, is unbelievably sexy. And then for some reason, green just kind of goes well with it in that picture. But on a color spectrum, like you can't, the Octane, you can't touch it. So,
True. Alrighty. So yeah, we're gonna move into the community section.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna pull up. Start with Gold Rush.
Obviously, Gold Rush. You gotta start with Gold Rush. It's the biggest
Definitely.
thing.
Okay, so I've got a whole text post on this, and we're just gonna run through this. So, in case you guys didn't hear about, which I'd be surprised by, considering how many people have showed their support
And
for
it's
this.
been out for like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. But some people don't search Reddit or follow Pro Scene necessarily.
Fair enough.
Somehow
managed to find this podcast, though. Good for them.
Definitely. True. Because they see this podcast and
They're
they
like,
say, hey, the Kickoff.
Yeah,
definitely.
they're like, I'm
gonna
not
go
too
watch
big
this."
into the esports stuff, but you know what? Rocket League podcast, that's my jam. Give me some bread. I need some peanut butter. Let's make a sandwich.
If that's you, let us know. Let us know. Alrighty. Oh my god. Okay, so Gold Rush is going to be a 2-day LAN, and it's going to have 9 players from US West, East, and Europe. It's formed by Quinn Lobdell, former pro. I think he's a sub now. Who else? Is James Bot? Yeah, James Bot, Corelli.
I would assume, but I don't see his name. Wouldn't Johnny be in this?
Johnny is casting.
He's casting. I assume that kind of puts him on the. But maybe he just didn't come up with the original idea. But he
didn't form it.
He definitely Well, he definitely was probably one of the biggest advertisers for it, though.
Yeah, those were the guys that actually created Gold Rush.
Gotcha.
But Johnny is going now because they funded his level.
Now I'm curious. Do you know why it's called Gold Rush?
Because it's California.
Is that it? It's okay. Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
The Gold Rush.
I like that.
The Gold Rush, yeah. It's because of the the 49ers.
Yeah. No, I got you now. I like that. I know nobody had said why. I was just.
Is it 49ers or 76ers? Which one was the year?
No idea.
For the Gold Rush. It was one of those two. I don't know why I can't remember which.
Doesn't matter. Stop being a nerd and forget it.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because this is based in San Francisco. So players: West, Rizzo, obviously. Dapper, great player. Turtle.
Dapper.
East.
Dapper is actually in the top. He was when I looked, like, currently within top 5 of 1v1s. Dapper is an amazing player, not only because he's.
I was watching Dapper play.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. East, Kronovi, obviously.
Obvious.
NRG, Fireburner. I was interested why they didn't go with Jacob.
Yeah, I actually am a bigger fan of Fireburner than Jacob, but not to see his foam hat there kind of makes me sad, I'll be honest.
I like both of them, but I feel like I'm starting to like Jacob a little more. He used to be a big Fireburner.
But could you imagine a Fireburner Cux, a Kronovi Cux, Duda, and Turtle or Dap? Like, it's going to be amazing. Regardless, it's going to be amazing. The
one that I saw in there was Espeon.
See,
Espeon I thought was interesting because he was great player in season 1.
He is nuts in 3v3. I love watching Espeon. I actually, now that I realize that he's on Take 3, I hope Take 3 make it into playoffs and potential land, because Espeon is awesome.
Espeon's
one of my favorite players to watch when RLCS is going on.
Espeon's great. I just didn't think he was necessarily a as major of a player as one of the other ones, although he definitely deserves that spot as being up with them. He isn't necessarily your go-to pro player that you.
I actually would. You know what? I would agree to that, and I would almost say that his performance this year, from what I've saw personally, I think he might be a little underrated, and I think I think he would deserve that spot.
Okay, Europe, Cook's here. Obviously,
that's just like. You can't have
Marky Duda.
A best of 9 lane without
Cooks. Definitely. Definitely. Cooks is one of those guys. It's just like Kronovi. He's just one of those guys. Marky Duda. I'm going to talk about these next two, Marky Duda and Jazer. I thought these were interesting choices. Just because of Jazer who is great player. He's on an RLCS team this year. Was last year, but he subbed and didn't really do much. He played like one game. Great player, great freestyler, etc. But I feel like other players would have fit the bill better. Again, you don't know what went into this. For all you know, they reached out to other players and they couldn't make it. For me, Devo should have been on here for Europe.
That's actually a fun little thing to run around, is how they pick the players. I would actually like to see if they have an original list and then a finalized list, just to see who they had, and then maybe somebody couldn't make it. That's a little fun thing to do, actually.
Because definitely. Because just in my mind, I think Devo should have definitely been in Europe. Devo's probably one of the top European players.
One of the things I'm excited to actually watch is Jazer. I actually have not got to see Jazer play very often, and from when I watch Johnny streams, apparently Jazer is just a monster when it comes to off the wall, off ceilings, and the like really sick, crazy plays. I hope, even though it's going to be competitive, so he probably won't do it as much, I assume, I hope we get to see a couple of his freestyles or something. Just
the thing
something
with Jazer
a little crazy.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit. Jazer, the thing with him is, because of his freestyling, he's the most comfortable player on the ceiling at this point in the game. Which is really odd, because most players you don't really, slightly more now that like the things like the Tarzan shot started becoming more popular. Where you come off the wall and then kind of swing up after aiming a little bit low on the wall. But he's the most comfortable player, so if the ball's close to the ceiling, he's going to drive up there and he's going to hop off of it and try to take a shot. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to put that shot on net because he's done it so many times. Someone like Crow, you're not going to see doing that. They're going to make plays off the wall or off the ground. They're not necessarily going to right up onto the ceiling just for a shot, just because of how risky it is and how uncomfortable they are.
And you making the point that you're not going to see Crow or some of these other players is exactly what I hope they have been practicing. I hope to see when we get into the higher with the playoffs in the lands. I hope we start to see what they have been doing. Like, we've seen them refining their skill and maybe getting better at hitting off the wall, getting better at pinches, getting better at coming off the ceiling. I was watching a 1v1 the other day. I don't recall who it was. I want to say it was Krinovi. I'm not sure, though. I'm probably wrong. But he took the ball up the wall. He came off the ceiling, and instead of boosting off the ceiling, he let his car just fall right off of it, and he followed the ball. And at the exact moment he needed to, he had his one pop, and he popped it over the opponent and scored it. Because when most people come off the ceiling, they're going to use their one boost to push off, to give them momentum. And then the second one only has a 1.5 second timer. That's all you got. So when that ground opponent was like, oh, he's only got this margin of time, so all I have to do is sit here and I'm good. And then he just fell. So he had infinite amount of time when he could pop and touch this ball again, and he got outplayed. And I am excited to see stuff like that. I want to see these players like the Turtle Flick, where they come up with these crazy outside the box plays and then can actually focus them in to something really cool, something that people don't think of. Most of the time when you're doing a ceiling play, you're not thinking, I'm just going to let my car fall, and then I'm going to control the pop at the perfect time to push it past the opponent where they don't expect it. That is the shit I'm so excited to watch when it comes to the skill ceiling. I hope they come out with new maps as well that can breed and open up new territory, new ground of what we haven't done. Like, have you seen that post on Reddit? I don't have it, and I wish I did. I didn't even think about it. It's the one, like an actual soccer field. Instead of the goals being on, like, connect inside the walls, they're actually out, and you can hit the ball behind the goals in this one. Apparently, it used to be in the game, and then they took it out. You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen this? Yeah, I want that map back, and I want crazy stuff, kind of neat stuff like that. I want to see this. I want to see them get kind of crazy with their maps. You got to have, the general gist, but I think being able to take the goals out of the walls and put them in like actual soccer fields, I think that is a really cool setup that everybody could get on page with. When you come into like the Neon Tokyo map where you add a hill, I think that starts to mess with the gameplay because there's only one map like that. and it creates kind of a disruption for the whole way the game's played. I think you moving the goals, keep the goals where they would be, keep them the same distance, but then just open up behind them a little bit, like an actual soccer field. I think that would be really interesting. I hope they bring in stuff like that.
Definitely. So, Gold Rush, so just more about the event itself. It's going to be completely community funded, and is for the most part at this point. But they are selling shirts, posters, etc. A lot is already sold. They are selling signed items. I happen to buy an Xbox 360 controller signed. That's going to be definitely great to have.
How definitely is it going to be great to have? On a scale from definitely to definitely squared.
I'm gonna have to go with definitely.
Definitely squared.
Definitely squared. But yeah, they funded most of it already, and I believe right now it's just going towards LAN equipment and more prize pool because they've funded all the players and everything. But it's gonna be great to see. They got some great guys in it, great guys running it, and I think this is gonna be probably the second biggest event that everybody's been hyped up for since RLCS.
That's exciting as well, considering it is a community funded event. That in and of itself is remarkable, and there should be a clap for everybody who chimed in and helped achieve that. This is probably not a very I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. This is probably a very expensive land. You have 9 of the highest players. You're taking people from Europe. It's in California. And then it's 2 days. That's a lot of setup. That's a lot of equipment. That's in a very high market. The fact that it was funded and then funded so well that they can increase the prize pool for the players is nuts. And the Rocket League community should be proud of that.
Definitely. Okay. So I think we've covered that. I actually wanted to touch on Insomnia for a minute.
1 second, real quick. Can I chime in? Gold Rush is between May 13th and 14th.
Oh, you got
just want to throw that out.
Got you. Definitely going to be trying to catch that on stream. Okay. So this is just a funny tweet from Johnny Boy, but Scrub played in Insomnia 60's Open Rocket League LAN, and ended up winning a ton of money.
Imagine that.
I think the kid's like, what, 13 years old? And I think the prize was 10,000 euros, and I'm pretty sure it was, or pounds. I think it was
I'm gonna mute myself.
I think it was pounds.
I'm gonna mute myself. I wanna convert that to dollars real quick.
Okay. But the LAN, I believe it was 3v3. And I could be completely wrong. I didn't really see this a lot. I just saw this on his Twitter feed. But they have a couple of pictures here. Here's some of the guys. But streamed by Johnny Boy, Gregan, Cole? Yeah. But it was like, what did he get? He got 5,000, so it must have been 2v2. I think it was 2v2.
Okay.
He got 5,000 pounds.
Okay, if it is pounds, they together in that 2v2 won $12,817. If it was euros,
yeah, it's pounds. It's pounds.
Okay, if it was euros, it would have been 10K. But 12 grand.
Scrub made $6 grand himself because he got 5,000 pounds himself. That's nuts.
At 13. Could you imagine winning that much money at a video game at an event at 13?
It's ridiculous.
Insane.
Absolutely crazy. Just wanted to touch on that.
I still, like I said, really wish that they would have had 2 pictures. I want to see him holding the check the right way. Like, I get that, oh, look, it's like more than half of him. I understand that. He's 13. He's going to grow. That check will be tiny by the time he probably hits full maturity. But turn it sideways. I want to see it say, here's all the money I won. Look how amazing I am. I can't see from this angle. But does it have his name? Does it actually say Scrub Killer on it? Like, that would be so cool. I want to see that. Or is it just his name?
No, it doesn't. I'm looking at it right now. It just says pay first place Insomnia 60.
What if it's on the other side and you just can't see it because they didn't turn
on the back of it?
on the back on the lower part of it?
Oh, I'm watching. The full image is there.
Oh.
You have to click on it the right way. If you just click on the image.
Oh. Now I feel
Yep.
stupid. I didn't click on the whole. Whatever.
I didn't figure that out.
So I would say I
Same
still wish they'd have a horizontal, that's how you hold a fucking check. They need to come out with a second picture or a second one where he's trying to cash it at a bank because you can't do that, and that would just be.
He's trying
to cram it in the teller
trying
hole.
to cash.
It's not gonna work.
Tries to bring it inside. Oh my god. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on Insomnia. Thought that was crazy. I think Bluey was there. Who else was there?
Not.
I think they have a list. Where's the list of people? There's a couple of the guys. Scrub isn't in that one. But yeah, bunch of people. Well-known figures.
Okay.
Great
Can
tournament.
we touch on this?
What?
Did you notice the British spelling of Czech is CHEQUE?
Yeah.
So weird. I assumed that's what it was. So weird.
Did you also know a line, like a standing in line, is standing in queue?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, how fun.
That's how it is. Yeah.
What a weird thing, though.
The differences. Okay, so next I'm gonna play. I think we're moving into our last little segment here. Yeah, we've covered everything. I'm gonna play my Rocket League song of the week. This is a song that I've been listening to all week, and I decided to throw this in there. Let me know if you guys want this, and I'll play my favorite song of the week to play Rocket League 2 with you guys. I don't know how much interest this is gonna get, but I thought I'd add it at the end. So yeah, we're gonna play. This is Coast Oceans by Young Bombs. Young Bombs they do a ton of great remixes.
See what we're gonna actually do on the down low is
what are we gonna actually
Architect's gonna put his song of the song of the week in every podcast, and if you guys like or don't like it, we're just gonna edit it out through the magic of the internet.
Obviously. So like we're gonna re-upload the video, take it out, and then we're gonna delete the original.
Yeah, you could do that. I thought it would just be more funny that Architect constantly submits these songs that he thinks people are listening to, and nobody's listening to him.
Everybody just skips out.
The editor's just like, oh, what a trash song. The first thing he does when he opens it up, just gotta remove this stupid fucking song.
And I never rewatched.
You don't
rewatch the podcast.
You don't watch
so
the
I never know.
podcast. You can't watch the podcast.
Obviously.
That's
okay, so I'm gonna play this now. A glimmer
I'm gonna give it to you. That is
Alrighty.
actually pretty good.
Did you listen
Yeah.
to it?
The music's better than the words, I think, but it's not bad.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely, guys.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Alrighty, guys.
Hold on a second. I have two things I want to say. Probably only one. I just want to let everybody know that I have a story almost. It's a very short story. I'd seen this coffee drink from Starbucks called the Unicorn Frap. And I tried my hardest to be very basic today and get one. And apparently, the one fucking time I want coffee, they're sold out. And they're not just sold out at this one particular Starbucks. No. Every Starbucks in my fucking area doesn't have this goddamn drink. I don't drink coffee very often, and then they give me something, they come out with a drink that I was particularly interested in because it has unicorns. You're gonna win me right there with unicorns. It's called a unicorn frap. I'm already gonna buy it.
Settle down.
Secondly,
You need to settle down.
it's so very pretty looking. The colors they use in this stupid coffee is fantastic. It's purple and pink and blue, and I'm upset, and I need to complain about it.
Are you done yet?
Also,
Calm
that's
down.
the rant. The rant's done. I'm sorry, everybody.
Calm down. Calm down.
Just mute me. You've already left. The song made all you guys leave. It doesn't matter. The core fandom is right here.
Are you done? Are you done?
This podcast was sponsored by Coke.
Nope, it was not. It was not. Alrighty, guys. So we're gonna end the podcast here. It's been almost an hour. 59 minutes and 30 seconds. Way longer than we thought it was gonna be, but let us know if you like it this long. Let us know anything you think needs to be done.
Critiques, criticism, just tell us we fucking suck in the chat. If I don't see 5 messages that say we fucking suck in the chat just like that with this in it, I'm gonna be disappointed. Odds are we're only gonna get like 1 view, me and then you, and then nobody else.
Alrighty. Yeah. So we're gonna try to do these every Monday. We're gonna set these to upload in the morning, I think. And we're gonna try to do this weekly. So hope you guys enjoy.
Who's your name?
And I am RK, aka Nolan. And who are you?
I am called Panda Sauce, aka Jelix, and I love you.
AKA Dallas.
AKA. You never told me the title. The Kickoff.